Alright, this might come as a shock to some of you, but I am a big fan of horror games. I just can't help myself. I love the feeling of defecating in my pants the second a robot furry or naked man enters my vicinity. So because of this, I'm obviously a big fan of the Resident Evil franchise. You know, the first ever horror games. Unless you count Hunt the Wumpus. What the fuck is a Wumpus? Anyways, with how many games exist in the series and how different all of them are, one simple yet complex question began forming in my thinker meat. Is it possible to beat every single mainline Resident Evil game on the hardest difficulty without ever running a single time? Now, before we get started with this abomination, we first gotta figure out what games I'm actually gonna play, because there is a lot of Resident Evil games. For obvious reasons, I'm not gonna play Resident Evil Survivor 2 Code Veronica. I'm not doing that. As I mentioned, I'm gonna be playing every single mainline Resident Evil game, so 1 to 8, just because that makes the most sense. And if any of the games have a remake, aka 1 to 4, I'll be playing that instead of the original just because they look better. With that in mind, I will not be playing every single game just in this video. I decided to split the series into 3 standalone videos, because without doing that, the video would either be a year long, or I would have to skip over large parts of the game to cut the video down to a watchable length. So this video will focus solely on Resident Evil 1 to 3. The next video will be on 4 to 6, and the finale will be on 7 and 8. As for the rules of this challenge, instead of having a post-shift 2-level rulebook, I'll talk about the rules for each game before we start them, since it isn't 100% the same throughout each game. Also, before this video begins, I want to give a big shout out to the Resident Evil speedrunning community, because many of the strats that I use throughout these videos come from the speedruns. As well as a shout out to all the people who have done no running challenges in the past. People like Zero, Dante Ravioli, and all their videos are really entertaining to watch, and if you're a fan of Resident Evil and somehow haven't checked them out yet, definitely do that after watching this video. And with all of that said, if you want to watch the proof for any of these 3 games, the full runs will be uploaded to my second channel, Chicken Ninja 43, and let's get started with Resident Evil 1.
Resident Evil.
Trademark of the Umbrella Corporation.
The core values, the foundation for Umbrella.
The rules for this game are very, very simple. Rule number 1, no running. Yep, we have to do the main challenge. In addition to this, we are also not allowed to use modern controls. If you didn't know, using a controller enables what's known as modern controls, aka auto running. We're technically not pressing the run button, but it still counts as running and is banned. Rule number 2 is that we must beat the game on hard difficulty. Technically, there are other harder difficulties available, real survival mode and invisible enemy mode. Although these difficulties don't change item spawns, enemy spawns, or enemy health. Pretty much they just make the game more tedious and annoying, so I'm sticking with hard mode. I'm also pretty sure you don't want to watch 35 minutes of Resident Evil Schizophrenia mode. And for the final rule, we cannot use any New Game Plus items, aka no infinite ammo weapons. In this game, you can unlock a pistol and rocket launcher that both have infinite ammo. Since this would make the challenge too easy, they're banned. With the rules out of the way, it's time to start the game. Okay. Now what? If you've ever played a Resident Evil game before, then you'd know that many of the games allow you to choose the character you play as. And unfortunately, this choice isn't as simple as, oh, I want to play as Chris because then I can be Master Chief. These two characters have completely different weapons, stats, and story progression, but in the interest of the run, I'm gonna go with Jill because of her 2 extra inventory slots. When you move at the speed of a drunk old lady at Thanksgiving, Walking back and forth to places because you have no inventory space gets really boring, and I want to avoid it as much as possible. After the STARS police unit is attacked by a gang of Scooby-Doo on Fent, 3 members, Jill Valentine, Barry Burton, and Captain Albert Wesker, are forced to hide inside an abandoned mansion. Just to be clear, this mansion is owned by a person with the last name Spencer, not Combs. Taking control of Jill, we've got one main goal. Get out of the mansion by finding the sword, armor, and shield keys, and then find the 4 death masks to use in the crypt. The first thing we need to do is actually open the crypt, which is surprisingly easy to do. We can move through the outer west wing to make it to the mirror corridor, where we do encounter some enemies, although I came prepared with a gun. Inside the corridor, we pick up the golden arrow to use as a key on the large gravestone in the graveyard, and boom, crypt unlocked. The reason we're in the crypt before even having the death masks is because I really want to read some fine literature. Yeah, I don't fucking care. Oh wow, look, a key. This key lets us explore more throughout the mansion, grabbing a couple items on our way to use later, although we run into a big problem when we try to get upstairs. There's zombies. Psych, I'm just kidding. The zombies aren't a problem because I have a gun with no ammo in it. Oh, alright, I hate to do this now, but I think it's time to show off the one thing that's going to make this challenge possible. Zombie baiting. AKA ankle breaking, AKA Diddy Salmon.
Whoa.
I'm making the executive decision to not explain the last one. In this game, each zombie has 3 different fields around them. Their field of vision, grab field, and physical hitbox. Their FOVs consist of 2 cones that come out the front and back of them, as well as a sphere that surrounds them. If the player enters any of these, then the zombie will start chasing them. Next, the most important one is their grab field. It's just another slightly smaller sphere that surrounds the zombie, but if the player enters this one, then it will trigger the zombie to do a lunge animation towards the player. Finally, their physical hitbox, which is just a circle that encases the zombie. If the player touches it, not only will it act as a physical barrier blocking the player, but it will also cause the zombie to grab and bite the player, removing 40% of the player's overall health. As you all should know, the reason I'm mentioning this is not because I'm legally insane. I'm not insane. If we are able to aggro a zombie and get inside the zombie's grab range, there's a small window of time during the grab animation where we can move away from the zombie, dodging its physical hitbox, and thus not be grabbed. This dodge will put the zombie on grab cooldown for around half a second, meaning if timed perfectly, we can bait and walk past the zombie without taking damage and without using ammo. Now, we need to put that plan into action. We first need to dodge the zombie right outside the storeroom, then dodge another upstairs, then dodge a third on the way to the library, grab the lighter and the dog whistle, head back out dodging the same zombie again, and finally dodge a 4th zombie on the way to the main hall. This is gonna be so easy. No, brother. You gotta consider what I'm about to say. Gotta consider it. You can't just hear it and say, well, that's weird. Salmon. 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
What?
I don't know that many people who can hold on to a salmon. Woo! Never mind, he can. Oh, I ran out of baby oil. What is this? What? No! No, what? What? This dude's cheating. I don't even need to look. I could do this. I could do this with my ass cheeks. Oh my god! I'm a salmon! Baby oil salmon. Baby oil salmon. Baby oil salmon. Baby oil salmon. Why is there so many carpets? What the f did I get stuck on? Nothing. What did I... What? Oh my god! Oh my god! This is the one! With that done, we're still not out of the woods because we only have a limited number of saves in this game, so we're not saving yet. Instead, we need to move across the main hall and over to the outside balcony, where we can use the dog whistle to spawn in 2 zombie dogs, one of which drops the collar we need to get the armor key. Is that an insta-kill? No, it's not. Alright, take 2. By examining our newly obtained collar, we receive an imitation key that allows us to grab the armor key from the 3rd floor. With 2 out of the 3 keys grabbed, we're pretty much free to do whatever, so I go destroy some property, admire some art, and locate the western storeroom where we finally save our progress. Oh my god, I was 7! The reason we're saving here is because I'm scared. There's still a ton of item collecting to do, I just didn't want to die. With my worries relieved and the shit removed from my pants, we can grab the broken shotgun from the room near our save and use it to grab the working shotgun, as well as rob a corpse out on the deck to get the grenade launcher. However, our item collecting is quickly interrupted because Richard is poisoned. Who the fuck is Richard? That's a great question. I don't know, but he's 138 pounds, 5'8", and is dying from a snake bite. So let's go save him. The serum needed to save him is in the western storeroom, and we need to make it back to him in less than 4 minutes or else he dies. But he doesn't really do anything. So, in the next room, we use the lighter to light the candles, allowing us to push this cabinet out of the way, loop the zombie, and grab the musical score. We can then combine this with the missing music to gain the ability of playing the piano, which of course rewards us with the golden emblem that can be used in the dining room to give us the 3rd and final key, the shield key. Now that we have every required key, we can now begin escaping the mansion by grabbing the 4 hidden death masks. The first mask is super easy because we already set it up. Using the chemicals we grabbed previously in the greenhouse, we can kill the fountain plant and grab the mask. And that's it. The next mask is located next to our pal Richard and is guarded by a big ass snake. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jan. Jan is a big snake. Anyways, despite being very intimidating, we can just walk right past him, grab the mask, and leave. Simple as that. With only 2 more death masks remaining, the next one is found upstairs in the armor room. There is a zombie in this hallway, but like they always say, you can't take the baby oil from the fish. So we snap some rotten zombie ankles and solve the armor room puzzle to get a box with the 3rd mask in it. What's the need for the box? I don't know. Moving on over to the eastern storeroom, by this point, I'm basically a salmon. So when, no joke, 4 zombies come barreling through the windows thinking that I ordered a McJumpscare, we have no problem walking right past them. The reason we're coming all the way over here is because hidden behind one final puzzle in the gallery is the 4th death mask. By bringing all 4 masks down into the crypt and placing them in the correct spots, we are given the key to the courtyard. But we also spawn the game's first boss, the Crimson Head prototype. Hopefully I did a good enough job hyping this guy up because he doesn't really do anything. Remember those 2 weapons we picked up earlier? More specifically, the grenade launcher? We're fucking out of here, baby. It's time for the next portion of this game, the courtyard and the residence. The courtyard section is a nice break from all the Diddy salmoning, and by that I mean it's fucking boring. The scariest thing out here is the grass. We walk down a path, grab a crank, get CTE from a motherfucker named Lisa, sneak past some dogs, get assaulted by some snakes, and welcome to the real challenge, the residence. Would you believe me if I told you that there's a significant amount of evil in this residence? Well, you should, because this might just be the hardest area for this challenge. To start off this area, the very first thing we're going to do is save the game and heal, because we're gonna need both. After a quick prep talk in the storeroom, it's time to enter the rec room to grab the red book. Difficulty-wise, this room is fine. There's only 2 enemies, and they aren't capable of dealing that much damage. The issue is, these enemies are known as web spinners.
What?
Yep, they're massive spiders. For your viewing pleasure, I will be censoring any of these that show up because they're absolutely disgusting, but just so you know, I have no problem dealing with these guys. I'm no scaredy cat. Where is it? If I came up... Hey! Hey! Hey, it's right there! It's right there! Now that I have undeniable proof my nuts are made of pure steel, the rest of this section can be done no problem. We walk over to room 2 to grab the room 1 key, unlock room 1 to grab the control room key and the self-defense gun, and then head over to one of the most difficult sections of this game, the Aqua Ring. By pushing around a bookshelf in room 2, we can expose a ladder that leads down to a hallway where we shove around more shit to make it to the Aqua Ring walkway. This room consists of a large circular walkway around the outer edge of the room, connected to a small ring walkway in the middle. In addition to just being a big room, it's also full of water, forcing us to move at an even slower speed. And to make it even worse, there are 3 enemies that roam around known as Neptunes, aka sharks. 2 of these sharks are normal. They have 1000 HP, which is around double what a zombie has, and will swim around the player. The first time they pass, they will do nothing, but the second time, they will bite you, dealing 31% of the player's overall health. As bad as those 2 sound, they aren't even the hard part. As I mentioned, there's 3 enemies in this room. The last enemy is the giant Neptune. It can be seen swimming below the middle platform, it cannot be killed, and if the player spends too much time crossing the walkway, they are insta-killed by its attack. My first plan for dealing with this area was just to put my head down and start walking. I'll let you guess how well that went. Yeah, unfortunately, I can't just bullshit my way through this one, so let's focus on one thing at a time, starting with the 2 basic Neptunes. Back when I introduced them, I did say that they have 1000 HP, which means they're killable. However, they aren't as easy to kill as zombies. For example, if we shoot a zombie with Jill's shotgun at close range, it does around 1000 damage, but the same distance shot against a shark will only do around 300 damage. Luckily, the sharks do receive a pretty heavy nerf as a result of their higher defense. If we hit them with a close range shot, they will retreat instead of attacking. So by walking until the shark cutscene, standing still, and only shooting when they get close, we can get rid of 2/3 of the problem using about 8 shotgun shells. Perfect! Now the walkway is completely safe up until the point where we run out of time and get insta-killed. To best this shark, there's 2 main things that we need to perfect, our positioning and our timing. First off, if we take a look at the entire room, we can see the areas where the giant shark is open for an attack. Basically, it's the whole room. Although, if we take a look at the shark's animation, we can see that it will only attack from open spaces. Meaning, these 2 points where the bridge connects to the outer and inner walkways are safe from the shark, since all possible attack angles are blocked off by a platform. There we go, that's 2 shark-proof spots, which should be good enough for positioning. Now it's time for our timing. As I mentioned, the big Neptune can be seen circling underneath the middle walkway, and as useless as it seems, we're gonna exploit this. Because the shark's attack and swimming animation doesn't transition, they made it so the shark will only attack when not visible to the player, or else it would just teleport from swimming to attacking. So by sitting in the safe spot of the middle platform and timing it so we begin the walk to the exit right as the shark enters the field of view, we could theoretically have just enough time to reach another safe spot at the exit staircase and make it past this room. Now it's time to actually do it. Or that they just don't bite me. I healed! Whoa! No! Brother! No! No, see? Okay. Oh my god, why he wasn't there? Because when he's up, he's doing like, oh, I'm a big scary shark guy, right? But when he's down, he's like, oh, I'm about to jump at your ass. Oh, I couldn't even see anything. Bro. Oh, brother. Okay. Get out, get out, get out, get out, get out! Get out! Get out! Get out! Get out, get out, get out! Holy sh**. The fucking strat. Yep, surprisingly, we can make it through the Aqua Ring. For now, because coming up is another potentially impossible section. We need to drain the water in the control room. In order to drain the water, we need to interact with the main console, then release the safety on the right, then pull the lever on the left, then read the note on the table behind us, then turn the correct valve in the hallway, then release the safety on the left console again, and finally drain the water at the main console, all in under 1 minute. Uh-oh. No, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. I think I'm good. Fuck, man. I hate this part. I hate this part. Let me go home. Wow. 2 barely possible sections back to back. I'm done with this. Now that the water's been drained, we can get our revenge on that shark by giving it the toaster treatment, letting us grab the gallery key and escape back upstairs to save the game. With our newly acquired gallery key, we can open the gallery, which has unfortunately been infested by wasps. This residence is getting so evil. Wasps will attempt to swarm the player and sting them, dealing 3% of your overall health and also having a chance at poisoning you. But if you remember, nuts of steel, so we can walk right past them, kill them with the insect spray, and grab the room 3 key. This key surprisingly opens room 3. Inside, we can use the red book from the spider room to mess with someone's porn collection. What the fuck is going on? Despite this looking really suspicious, this puzzle is required to open a secret door to this area's boss fight against Plant 42. AKA Plant Ninja 42.
Acid ball.
This boss can hit us with vines and spray acid at us, and we can only damage it when its mouth thing is open. It's gonna suck without running, so let's just skip the entire thing. By looking at the pool table in the rec room and lighting some candles around the room, we can figure out a code to unlock the medical room door inside the gallery. Inside the medical room, we're given a bunch of different chemicals, and instead of Breaking Bad, we can use them to create something known as V-Jolt. This can be used down in the guard room that's connected to the newly drained Aqua Ring, and needless to say, Plant Ninja 42 is not a big fan of the V-Jolt. So, by using it on the roots and returning back to the boss room, we instantly trigger a cutscene where Barry just kills the thing for us. As a reward for our bravery, we are given the helmet key, meaning the evil residence has been bested and it's time to head back to the mansion for some more shenanigans. On the way back to the mansion, we do the usual dog assassinating and snake walk until triggering a cutscene in the dark corridor, because this marks the spawning of new enemies known as hunters. These hunters will now spawn in all of these rooms. They have between 1000 and 1500 HP and can deal a range of damage, either 21%, 31%, 42%, or just straight up insta-killing us depending on the attack that they do. I'll be honest, there is no way we are baiting these guys. Whenever we come across one, they are catching a grenade straight to the face. Although, the initial one that spawns can be dodged by taking an alternate route to the main hall, by instantly moving to the gallery and going backwards through the graveyard. The first thing we need to do back in the mansion is use our newly acquired helmet key to reach the mirror room, because inside is an item known as the jewelry box, which we need for later. To open said jewelry box, we need a jewel, which is found inside the treasure room just above the western storeroom. There is another violent Mike Wazowski in the storeroom hallway, but we can take it out using 1 acid round and 1 pistol shot. And just like that, we're practically done with all the mansion chores. The only thing left to do is grab the 2 last books. The first one is located upstairs in a locked room along the east wing stairway. To get there, we need to kill another hunter, but again, it's not a big deal. There is a problem, however, with the next room, as it requires us to push this statue into this slot while the walls close in on us. More specifically, the walls will fully close whenever the player enters the puzzle, and will only retreat when the player presses a button on the opposite side of the right wall. To assist us, we can push the statue all the way down the hallway as it blocks the walls from fully closing in. Although, I'm just gonna rip off the band-aid, this section is impossible. This room is mandatory for game progression, there's no glitch to skip it, and it's barely possible to do while you're running. To put this into perspective, Jill's max running speed is her fully healed run, where she moves at 305 map units per second. Her max walking speed is her injured walk, where she moves at 124 map units per second. Yeah, we're not even close. But the challenge doesn't stop here. Like I said in the beginning, the goal is to see how many runs are required throughout the entire Resident Evil series. So, despite it being kinda bullshit, this is our first run. Throw it up on the board, and I'm jumping in a hole. And there's spiders in the hole. You know what? The challenge is over. I didn't even need to read. Why did I read? How is he already there? Nah, I'm lying. There's a conveniently placed elevator down here, which we can take to the second floor to grab a battery for later. Looking at the checklist, there's only one thing we need to do before we leave the mansion for good. We need the last book. It's hidden upstairs in the library, guarded by the thing that took out my, acquaintance, Richard. It's time for the yawn fight. Sadly, we can't just walk away from this one. This time, we actually need to fight him. Yawn 2 has a total of 4,000 HP, and will do 31% of our health bar on basic attacks, and 35% on a finisher. Luckily, we've been pretty good with not wasting ammo, so this fight is pretty free. We can immediately hit him with the self-defense gun we got earlier to deal 1,000 damage guaranteed, then do the rest with shotgun bullets, as they will always land for 500 damage regardless of how far away we are. And done. No dodging required. We grabbed the last book too once it's been knocked off the shelf, and now it's time for some side quests before we get out of here. One is to complete the gem box by combining it with the red gem to get the emblem key, which we use to get the metal object. And side quest 2 is to unlock the Magnum by doing the fish tank puzzle upstairs to get the wind crest, and use it in the courtyard to solve the gravestone puzzle housing the Magnum. We're not using either of these yet, but they're basically going to be required to end the game. With the checklist complete, it's now time to give in to the insatiable yearn for the mines. I've always wanted to be a miner. That just, like, with an E. Unfortunately, Minecraft gave me a false idea of what being a miner actually entails. There's no mining diamonds, we're just robbing dead bodies. This guy is Enrico, and he's only recently dead. And by recent, I mean we watch him get shot. Jill just has the spatial awareness of a spaghetti squash. After some more walking and receiving the biggest jump scare of my life, the new crank we stole from Enrico turns out to actually be useful, allowing us to progress to the next area, where everything falls apart. It's time for an encounter with one of the biggest ops in this challenge, boulders. In the next room, named Boulder Passage 1, the player is required to destroy some objects blocking the door to the next room. To do this, they must walk up to the boulder and trigger a cutscene before running away to not get crushed. You can probably see the glaring problem with this. I can't run. That's bad enough as it is, but to make it worse, the boulder moves as fast as our running speed, which, as I mentioned, is over double the speed of Jill's walk. So sadly, just like the closing wall puzzle, there's no glitch we can do or alternate path we can take. This boulder is our second necessary run of the game and of the series. And even more like last time, the game rubs some salt in the wound because the next room we unlock is home to the biggest spider in the entire game. The big spider behind the door is the game's next boss, and is known as the Black Tiger. I'll admit it, that's pretty fucking cool. The Black Tiger has a total of 4,040 HP and can do between 21% and 31% depending on the attack, and also has a chance to poison us. Do you remember the strat that we pulled off during the Yawn 2 fight, aka deal so much damage that we don't have to worry about dodging? Ladies and gentlemen, the Magnum Revolver. The Magnum is by far the strongest weapon in the game. Against the Black Tiger, a pistol will do 252 damage, a shotgun will do 580 damage, and the Magnum will do 1,200 damage. So by entering the fight and immediately holding down shoot, we can kill it using only 4 shots. However, we need the Black Tiger to avoid doing its charge attack immediately, and instead do its poison spit attack as late as possible. AKA, we need a long shake. After a couple resets, we can get the best possible run and defeat the Black Tiger, suffering minimal injuries. Breaking out of the boss room, it's time for Boulder Passage number 2. This is nothing like Minecraft. This time, instead of walking away from the boulder, we are walking into the boulder, meaning we have just barely enough time to sneak into the safe spot, dodging both the boulder and another run being added to the list. At the end of the second boulder passage, we do a puzzle to get a cylinder piece that we combine with another piece on the other side of the mines to activate the elevator. The elevator takes us down to an underground area where Lisa, the girl that gave me brain damage, is roaming around. Down here, we need to push a box over to a garbage disposal because inside the box is a broken flamethrower that we use to unlock a door. This door leads into Lisa's room, which contains the metal ring for the metal object we grabbed a while back. And surprise, surprise, Lisa's room is underneath the house I got clobbered in. By combining the metal ring and metal object, we can use it and the one we've been using to open the courtyard door on a secret door in the main hall to reach the next boss, Lisa herself. This fight works in a pretty weird way. The whole fight takes place on a platform above a big drop, and the only way to damage Lisa is to first knock her off the platform so she's hanging on the edge, then she can be damaged. For this reason, she only has 1000 HP, but she can do a range of damage from 36% all the way to an insta-kill depending on the attack she does. However, I've already thought of a plan to defeat her as swiftly as possible. We're gonna sacrifice Barry. Okay, I know that sounds bad. He killed Plant 42 for us and is just a cool guy. But there's something that I haven't told you. Back in the mines when Barry was supposed to protect the elevator, he actually ended up leaving us behind with the intent of getting us killed. And right before this boss fight, he tried to shoot us. Yeah, Barry's a bad guy. So when he asked to see his Magnum back, hell no. See you later, Barry. It's time to show this mutant Simpson what Barry's Magnum can do. This gun does the most damage out of any gun in the game, dealing 500 damage to Lisa when she's hanging on the edge. So by walking over to the Magnum and tanking an attack from Lisa, we can set up a Magnum shot to knock her off the platform, letting us land 2 shots while she's hanging to fully knock her off and end the fight. Swiftly moving on from that ordeal, we can finally find a use for those 2 books we grabbed a while ago, as they're used to unlock a potato quality cutscene to reach the final area of the game, the underground laboratory. Inside the laboratory, it's time for me to enact my secret plan that I've been hiding from you. It's called Operation Empty the Clip. As you've seen throughout the game, I've avoided killing as many enemies and bosses as possible, so I've saved up a lot of ammo, and I'm about to use it all. Literally any zombie we see is getting sent for a second round in the gulag. So on our Murder World tour, we head down to the morgue to unlock the 2 doors, move over to the data room to get the lab key, and now it's time to meet the final enemy of the game, the Chimeras. These guys come out in masses in the next area of the lab. They have 1200 HP and do between 13% to 21%, but they do have an insta-kill attack. I will be honest, these things look intimidating, but do you want to know what else is intimidating? The Magnum Revolver. Come down here and fight me like a cockroach. Inside the power maze, we grab the fuel supply canister, which we refuel in the X-ray room 2, allowing us to bring back the power to the elevator and head down to the laboratory basement. Rather than there being an exit down here, it's just Albert Wesker, the other guy who entered the mansion with us, except he's the fucking imposter. The whole time, Wesker, who is an employee of the evil Umbrella Corporation, was tasked with leading the STARS unit into the mansion to test the killing abilities of the occupants inside the evil residence.
He said it! He said it!
He also blackmailed Barry by pretending to kidnap his family so Barry would betray us. Yeah, he was innocent the whole time. However, Wesker is the only bad guy here, and he's even worse than we think, because instead of doing what Umbrella tasked him to do, he plans to snake them, destroy the lab, and sell the information to a rival company, and to do so, he awakens the game's final boss, the Tyrant. This boss has 2400 HP and can do between 32% to 63% and also has an insta-kill, and that's all a lie. Since we let Barry die in the Lisa fight, this boss for some reason gets nerfed like crazy, only having 800 HP and dealing between 21% to 31% of our health. So in order to kill the scary big bad final boss, we shoot it once with Barry's Magnum. That's the whole fight. There we go, the first game is finished, requiring a grand total of 2 runs, one for the closing wall puzzle and one for the first boulder. That of course means the series total is already up to 2 runs, and we've only done 1 game, so let's hope the next game goes a bit different.
Resident Evil 2.
Jumping straight into the rules for this game, they are basically the same. Rule number 1, no running. Yeah, whatever. Rule number 2, we must complete the game on hardcore. Unlike the first game, the hardest difficulty is very clear. It's hardcore. Enemies take massive chunks out of our health bar, and we once again have a limited amount of saves. Rule number 3, the final rule, is no New Game Plus items, which, just like last time, are the infinite ammo weapons. With that out of the way, we still have one thing left to do, and that's once again choose the story that we play. The choice is between Leon and Claire, and this time I'm going full monkey brain mode. I don't care about which is easier, Leon's story is more interesting, I'm going with Leon. Starting off the game, we are introduced to the GOAT of the Resident Evil franchise and the Raccoon City Police Department's newest recruit, Leon Kennedy. While stopped at a gas station, we go to investigate a crashed police car. Long story short, I shoot the store owner and rob the place before going to work at the police station. This, of course, can't happen without complication, so we crash the car, spilling the beers, and we have to walk the rest of the way. Getting down to the police station is the easiest thing we've ever done. Every single zombie can be politely walked past without the need to shoot a single bullet. Making it inside, we stop for a quick game of Five Nights at Instagram Reels until deciding we're gonna go save the guy dying on the cameras. Yay. You can probably guess how this is gonna go. Terribly. We make it just in time to find Officer Elliot Edwards losing his car, and now we have to face a hallway full of zombies. Luckily, we can tap into our ammo supply left over from the start to make it through safely. With my first 2 jobs as a cop ending in multiple casualties, I don't think this job is for me. So now it's time to escape the police department. In order to do this, we need to find 3 different medallions, the Lion, Unicorn, and Maiden, and place them into the base of the goddess statue to open an escape route. The first of these to collect is the Lion medallion. It's found literally 1 flight of stairs away from the statue. Okay, next medallion. The next medallion on the list is the Unicorn medallion, located in the 2nd floor lounge near the library. Why the f is this police station so big? But before we can make it into the library, it's time for a long item collecting side quest. Entering through the southwest hallway, we can walk past the majority of zombies that spawn, only killing the 2 in the west office so we can do the puzzle and upgrade Matilda. That's my gun's name, I guess. I don't know. Matilda? I'm gonna put this on the pistol? What the fuck? Moving on, we grab more items from adjacent rooms before sneaking past some more zombies to get upstairs and grab the spade key, granting us access to the library and the room with the medallion. And just like that, 2 of the 3 medallions have already been found, and now it's time for the Maiden medallion. By using our fancy spade key on the door in the 2nd floor waiting room, we can grab both the bolt cutters and the round handle before shooting our way through the original zombie hallway to make it back to the main hall. With these key items added to our inventory, we can head back up to the western locker room to shut off the gas which was blocking the way previously. It was hot, I guess. Hiding in the hallway beyond the locker room is an enemy we've yet to see, the Licker. Holy shit. Don't say that too fast.
What do you mean by that?
In this game, Lickers have 1,500 HP and have a range of different attacks, with almost all of them insta-killing us unless we're on full HP. However, these things receive one of the biggest nerfs ever. They're blind. So unless they're alerted either by coming in direct contact with the player or hearing the player run or fire a weapon, they will never attack. Which means for once, walking is actually optimal, and we don't have to worry about the liquor at all. This lets us grab a battery from the STARS office, and after a quick detour downstairs to grab a detonator, we can combine the two to set off an explosive in the 3rd floor storage room and steal the final medallion. Now that we have all 3 medallions, we're technically done. The escape route is open, but we haven't fully robbed the station of all its valuables yet. We grab the hip pouch from the west office, red jewel from the art room, muzzle brake from the waiting room, and clear the safety deposit room, including grabbing the shotgun. I know this seems excessive, but trust me, it's necessary, because as soon as we head out the escape route, it's time for RE2's first boss, G1. This game starts with a bang. G1, or Stage 1 William Birkin, has a total of 5,000 HP and is capable of doing multiple different attacks, most of which will do 50% or more of our health bar. In addition to that, he also has really fast movement speed, being able to catch up to us extremely fast, and can do multiple swinging attack combos that can ruin us if we get stuck in a corner. So, here's the plan. Upon falling into the boss fight, we throw a grenade immediately at his feet to stagger him and allow us to get some distance. With this distance, we want to grab the various heals and ammunition throughout the room and then just start emptying the clip. Apart from potentially using corners to dodge attacks, the only thing we can do is shoot him, and if he gets close, we're doing a rebar mukbang. After a couple attempts, I managed to do just enough damage to kill him before he kills me and get me the f*** out of here. As a reward for beating the boss, we get mauled by a Scooby Fent and are introduced to Ada Wong. She's there. Ada is a mysterious spy that's hired by various companies. In this game, it's the Organization, and she basically just does jobs involving zombie shit for a bunch of money. That's it. It doesn't really matter. The thing that does matter, though, is the fact that we're now in the parking garage, and our new goal is to escape the parking garage. The problem being, I didn't pay for parking, and the only person who has a pass to get out of here is currently in prison and dead. To get the jail cell open, we need to find 2 boxes of electrical parts spread throughout the map. The first one is found in the generator room near the parking garage, and the second one is super complicated. By grabbing the first box, turning on the generator, and then heading up the stairs, we are brought back to the police station. That was fun. The reason we're back is so we can use the square crank, which for some reason was in the jail, to open the northeastern part of the station. This section is important for multiple reasons. I can flash an action figure. No, I thought I had a knot! Fall off a ladder and eat then spend 5 minutes figuring out a puzzle. Okay, I'm joking. The real reason why this is important is because this is where the challenge gets hard. We are introduced to this game's Tyrant, the TOO, aka Mr. X. Mr. X is a tyrant that was deployed into Raccoon City because he has beef with a child. More specifically, Sherry Birkin. Yeah, we just killed her dad. The reason for this beef is Sherry has a necklace with a sample of the G-Virus in it. Umbrella Corporation doesn't want her to have it, so now it's our problem. And a problem it is. Mr. X cannot be killed and will only be stunned when we deal 1,500 damage to him. He also will relentlessly pursue us at much more than our walking speed, and if we get hit, it hurts really bad. What I'm trying to say is, if we enter his line of sight or aggro him at all while he's patrolling around the whole map, we are dead. When he first spawns, we can avoid him by walking down the stairs to the safe room to force him away, as enemies can't enter the safe room. Also in this room is the club key, which we need for later. From here, we can make it to the main hall by using my Five Nights at Freddy's directional audio skills to listen out for his footsteps. And now comes the really hard part. Because of the limited saves, we need to grab the jack handle from the records room, then head all the way over to the other side of the map to go upstairs to the eastern storeroom to grab the large gear. And once that's done, we can finally save in the dark room before having to go back upstairs to the library, move the bookshelves, go through the door to the clock tower, solve the puzzle, then head all the way back to where we came from, and then we're finally done. Throughout all of this, we can never be seen by him a single time or else we're dead, and we can also not shoot a single bullet, because yes, he can hear us and will waste no time breaking my spine. Needless to say, this sucks. It's just hours of waiting and listening for footsteps just for it to all be thrown away because Mr. X happened to see a pixel of my ass cheeks for 2 milliseconds. Are you Are we dead at? But after enough patience, we can sneak our way around the station and save our progress, allowing us to do some worry-free item grabbing. Such as getting the jewel box to combine with the red gem from a long time ago to get the dongle to unlock the game's magnum, known as the Lightning Hawk. Insert my dongle. Are there any cameras? And with all that done, it's time to get the f out of here. We bring the electrical parts back to the prison, open the cells, and we just released a group of zombie criminals. When the cell doors open, a grand total of 12 zombies spawn in. And Mr. X. What? Looking at the prison's map, 9 of the zombies spawn here, 3 of them here, and Mr. X just spawns wherever the f he wants. So by moving as fast as possible over to this lever, we can pull it, unlocking this empty hallway, and as long as we move fast enough, we can get past without any of the 9 zombies reaching us. From here, we can move down the hallway till Mr. X spawns, throw a flashbang at his feet, then move past him and explode the first zombie's face, walk past the other 2, and escape with just enough time to make it out to the cutscene. And finally, it's our chill time. We go on a nice walk with Ada, this guy shoots his daughter, and we jump into the sewers. There is a concerning section where we have to run away from a big-ass alligator, although I'm not running. I'm only pressing W. That's just how fast you move in this section. After that, some lore happens, yada yada yada, now I'm a woman. That's right, baby, this story isn't just Leon. We also play as Ada. For the most part, Ada's section really isn't that interesting, at least in terms of the challenge. We walk through parts of the sewers using Ada's EMF visualizer to solve puzzles, and occasionally using her gun to shoot zombies if we can't just walk past them. Mr. X does spawn later during this section, but as long as we fully commit to the puzzles, we can escape before he even reaches us. By solving a quick high-stakes escape room, we come face to face with a random blonde lady. This is Annette Birkin, William Birkin's wife, and she has a game theory. Her theory is that Ada Wong is paralyzed. And she's right, we're back to playing as Leon. Well, that was interesting. Apparently we didn't have enough sewer water soaked into our shoes because it's time for another section completely in the sewers. The starting area of the sewers consists of solving various puzzles without any interruptions, apart from the occasional zombie, which we just shoot because of how tight the hallways are. What am I doing with the dong, bro? What? However, everything changes when we encounter the new sewer enemies, the G-Adults. I know, the name sucks. The G-Adults have 2,300 HP, deal a ton of damage, and can spawn weird worm things that poison us. To get past the first one, we simply shove a grenade down its throat, but I don't have that many grenades, so I'll need to figure out something later. Heading further into the sewers, we do the usual police stuff until we reach an area that I like to call G-Adult Hell. There's a total of 4 G-Adults in the one waterway. The first one we can kill with a grenade and some shotgun shells, and the next 2 that spawn can just barely be walked past with good enough timing. The fourth one we don't have to worry about yet, but we definitely will in the future. In the storage room beyond the waterway, we solve the puzzle to obtain the king and queen pieces and also get our hands on a flamethrower, baby. This find completely melts away all my worries, and it also melts weird blob people. Back at the save room, we find a use for the 2 chess pieces. They open a door to the trash room where Ada fell. I don't know who the got that installed, but we only need to find 1 more chess piece to reach Ada. To get this piece, we travel through the lower waterways while melting some more G-Adults, then use a tool we grabbed earlier to open a door, allowing us to grab the piece. But even though Ada is bleeding out and probably has multiple infections, we have more items to get. Using a key we grabbed earlier near G-Adult Hell, we can enter a room with some items as well as a secret elevator leading back to the police station. Here I stick my dongle in a box and also walk all the way back around to the STARS office to get 2 different upgrades to the Lightning Hawk. Fortunately, Mr. X is no longer here, so this is really easy to do. With all that off the to-do list, we can plug in the final chess piece back at the save room and head off to save Ada. Psych, it's time to fight G2. G2 is William Birkin again. He didn't actually die the first time. I lied. G2 has a total of 24,000 HP and has a fight consisting of multiple different phases. The fight begins in the power room, where he spawns above the player and attempts to swipe at them through the destructible roof. He'll swipe a total of 5 times, and after the first swipe, all we need to do is look up into the roof and we can see him, so then we can just bait out attacks until he's done 5. Once this is over, he jumps down and crashes through the metal gate in front of the player. We have enough time to make it over to the door and past him while he's doing his animation, so we do that while firing shotgun shells behind us to deal damage. Beyond the door, we're required to walk a long hallway while he chases us. However, I brought the Lightning Hawk into this fight, and if we can land headshots on him while he's running, it will stun him. A couple headshots later, we can safely make it to the main arena and ready the secret weapon. A crane. By using a combination of magnum shots, shotgun shells, and flashbangs, we can stagger him in one spot for long enough to line up a crane shot, dealing a total of 6,000 damage. This isn't enough to kill him, but with a couple more magnum shots to stagger him and one more crane alignment, we can send his ugly ass falling down a pit once more, ending the boss fight. Yay, let's go save Ada. She's really lucky because I know my first aid. You always pull the thing out of the leg. With my hero status at an all-time high, why not just go finish the game right now by entering the lab? Inside the lab, we have a slight problem. The room with the vaccine requires level 3 access, and we currently have green. We can gain level 2 access by shooting people in a McDonald's, then grabbing an access chip from a dead guy, but getting level 3 access requires a lot more work. The chip itself is located in a blocked section of the greenhouse, and to reach it, we need to mass murder some plants. We do this by opening a hatch in the greenhouse, jumping down, grabbing the signal modulator to turn on the power in the basement, then discovering a code from the bottom of this trophy. This code opens the drug testing lab, which is not as appealing as it sounds. In the lab, we can make something that I like to call Plent, which is what we're going to use to kill all the plants. Once we cool down the Plent in the testing lab, we can take out these revolutions of science and grab our well-deserved level 3 access chip. And Mr. X is back. Luckily, we can avoid him completely by just taking the long way around, down the hatch, past the liquors, and back upstairs. Despite that section being total bullshit, it was all worth it, because we can finally grab a sample of the G-Virus and save Raccoon City. Son of a bitch! Yep, surprise surprise, it's William Birkin. Time to fight G3. Before the fight begins, we get some backstory that was already pretty obvious. William is the inventor of the G-Virus. Umbrella Corporation wanted it, William refused to hand it over, so they shot him and stole it. But right before he died, he injected himself with the G-Virus. Now he's Goro from Mortal Kombat. Getting back to the fight, it is insane. He has 15,000 HP, an insane amount of combos, and his legs are as big as Leon, so he moves really fast. There isn't a whole lot we can do in this fight. He has so much health and does so much damage, it's barely even possible. But it's still possible. Starting the fight, we immediately close in to melt him with the flamethrower and also bait close range swing attacks because they're the only thing that's dodgeable. While this happens, we want to get him over to any of these big objects because he really likes to throw them. Despite it seeming like a death sentence, we want him to throw the things because it lets us get some free damage in, and to dodge it, all we have to do is walk around a corner. Once he throws it, we can gain enough distance to start shooting his weak points with the Lightning Hawk until he closes the gap. Then we want to once again bait out a close range attack to get past him, forcing him to pick up and throw another object for more free damage. And that's it. We just keep doing this until he dies. I know it sounds easy, but trust me, it sucks. There we go. William Birkin has finally been defeated. Oh yeah, and his wife is dying. I didn't do it. He did. All that's left for us to do now is find Ada and ride off with her and the sample into the sunset. Except literally everything goes wrong. Leon finds out she's an evil secret agent. Ada gets shot by Annette, who's still alive. We drop the sample, Annette dies, and then we drop Ada down a hole. And now there's a timer on my screen. Yeah, the lab is blowing up. So we move as fast as my knees will allow, head down the elevator, FaceTime Claire, because remember her? Me neither. Then we walk up to these two Ivies and die. The reason for dying here is because we can reset to a checkpoint. The spot where the checkpoint is can be reached walking with about 8 minutes and 30 seconds left on the timer. But when we reset to the checkpoint after dying, the timer gains about 30 seconds of time because the checkpoint is preset to spawn us with 9 minutes left. From here, we can flamethrower the two Ivies and then Mr. X spawns in. Why? Luckily during this, he isn't as mean, so we can loop around him and take a whiff of his hand before he blows up. After that interaction, we can grab the elevator's battery off a table and plug it in to get the elevator running with about 7 minutes left on the timer. Now it's time to fight shirtless Mr. X. What the fuck is happening? Naked Mr. Mr. X has 1 billion HP. That is not a joke. I'm actually being serious. Instead of working like a usual boss fight, this fight is on a timer, and at the end of it, we are given a rocket launcher, which kills him in 2 hits. The normal timer for this fight is 3 minutes and 30 seconds. However, there's actually a way we can speed it up. Pretty much, by dealing enough damage to him, we can get him to flinch, like this. For every flinch he does, the timer will speed up by 50%, maxing out at 150% or 3 flinches. So the plan is to shoot him a bunch until he flinches 3 times, and then enact my second super secret plan. Empty the inventory. This whole time, I've been stacking large amounts of heals in the box purely for this fight, because I hate to break it to you, but we cannot dodge a single thing. So, by getting 3 flinches as fast as possible, and then getting my ass whooped for 1 minute and 30 seconds straight, the rocket launcher spawns in, allowing us to finish the fight with 5 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. But little do you know, we don't even need another minute, because as soon as we go a bit overkill in this group of zombies, we can hop on the train out of here and end the game. Let's go! Resident Evil 2 is 100% possible to beat on the hardest difficulty without ever running a single time. That means the total runs for the Resident Evil series stays at 2, with obviously both of them coming from the first game. However, that number might change very quickly, because the last game of this video is without a doubt the hardest one we will have to do in this entire series. The 2020 remake of Resident Evil 3. Yeah, I'm spoiling it right now. This is going to be really difficult. Before we even look at the rules, this game is the first one to break away from the multiple stories feature that the first two had. Instead, this game combines the stories of the two characters, Jill and Carlos, resulting in gameplay similar to the separate Leon and Ada sections that we just played. And also, yes, this is the same Jill as the first game. Why does she look completely different? I don't know. In the original, she looked like this. Pulling up the rules, the first is the obvious no running. However, it comes with a little surprise. This game has a feature that is exclusive to 4 specific games throughout the 30 different Resident Evil games that exist, and that's dodging/charging. By pressing the spacebar as Jill, she will stumble forwards in a running motion before being staggered for a little bit. This move can be used to speed up Jill immensely, although this dodge can only be chained a max of 3 times before a super long stagger. The reason I'm mentioning this is because it is 100% allowed. It doesn't use the run button in any way, and also she just isn't running. I don't know what she's doing, but it's not running. Also, this move can only be used when playing as Jill. Carlos does a dumbass shoulder charge, so half the time this move doesn't even exist. Back to the rules, rule number 2 is we must play on the hardest difficulty, which for this game is Inferno difficulty. For those of you who know this game, you just started shivering in your timbers, because to even unlock Inferno difficulty, the player must first beat Nightmare difficulty, which is unlocked by beating Hardcore difficulty, aka the hardest difficulty from the last game. Playing on this difficulty means less ammo and heals, less ammo received from crafting, all enemies either 2-hit kill us or insta-kill us, no auto-saves, and less overall save stations. Yeah, the global clear rate of this difficulty is 4.79%, and those people can run. Of course, we're not done with the rules just yet, we have to make this even worse. Rule number 3, no new game plus items. Using points you receive from completing challenges, we can purchase a bunch of different items. Stat boosting coins, infinite ammo weapons, and a hot dogger. We can't use any of those. This is supposed to be hard, and hard it's gonna be. What? Listening to a quick yap session from the real doctor, Matt Gorkis, we wake up as the one and only Jill Valentine. You can tell this is the same one because she... well, you know. We get a call from a guy named Brad Vickers. Why do they keep doing this? He calls Jill to inform her that she's about to die because the Umbrella Corporation is still not happy about the events of the first game. So they release easily the most intimidating motherfucker of all time, Nemesis, and his one and only goal is to kill us. The first encounter where he goes full Kool-Aid Man on the apartment wall is scripted, so as long as we're not stupid, we have no problem getting past it. After that, we meet up with Brad outside of the apartment to have our first zombie encounter of the game. 4 of them knock down a fence and try to stop us from reaching the safety of a bar. Unfortunately, these zombies are really good at their job. They have massive grab distances, there's 4 of them that form a perfect offensive line, and if we get grabbed by any of them, we are insta-killed. Whatever, we can just use the dodge. Except we don't actually unlock the dodge until after this section. Yeah, I told you, this game's gonna suck, but as per usual, I have a plan. Whether or not that plan will work, I don't know, but I have a plan. Looking at the movement of these 4 zombies, the 3 on the left instantly lock onto the player, so that basically removes any hope of us going to the left. But that's okay, because we can still go to the right. The zombie over there doesn't instantly lock onto us, so we should be able to sneak past him with a good enough angle.
We're out.
Alright, in dire situations like these, those of you who have seen my videos before already know the parachute that I'm about to pull. Gambling. One thing that I haven't mentioned throughout all 3 of these games is zombie movement, and especially in this game, it is really complicated. Before I explain any of this, I got most of my information from this video made by Tabletop Duo, so if you want to learn more about stuff like this, definitely check them out. In this game, certain zombies are pre-programmed to move towards the player in specific ways. These presets are known as archetypes. In the game, there's 3 different archetypes that involve the zombies' movement. Archetype 1 consists of the zombies walking towards the player taking an oval-shaped path to reach them. Archetype 2, which consists of the zombie walking towards the player in a straight line path. And Archetype 3, the worst one, consists of the same thing as Archetype 1, however the zombies will randomly speed up and slow down whenever they want. Can you take a wild guess on which archetype the 3 standing zombies have? The third one. Although, that's actually gonna work in our favor. Since they move along an oval path to reach us, with good enough RNG, the left and right zombies can take large enough pathing angles to let us just barely sneak past them and around the others to get inside the bar. The main problem is this first construction guy. He's not a construction guy. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Never mind, it's easy. Never mind, it's easy! Never mind, it's easy! What? Yeah, this is gonna suck. That was literally the first ever zombie encounter, and we needed a whole game theory episode just to get past it. Fortunately, we get a break after this. Not only do we get a gun from a dead guy, but we also unlock the dodge ability, allowing us to reach the subway without any problems. In the subway, we're introduced to a couple new characters, with the most important being Carlos. He works for the Umbrella Corporation and was sent out to deal with the zombie outbreak. If you really want to know, when William was attacked in the second game, he held a briefcase containing the G virus, as well as another virus known as the T virus. When he got shot, the T virus spilled, which later infected a group of rats that then contaminated the water supply of Raccoon City. There you go, game theorized. Before we leave the subway, we grab all the supplies provided, including the Lightning Hawk. Yeah, this difficulty is so insane that they just give it to you immediately. Out on the main avenue, we blow up the 3 zombies that storm the gate, head up along the walkway, and then kill the alpha parasite that spawns in the staircase using the Magnum. From here, it's as simple as dodging past every zombie, grabbing the water hose, and then using it to put out the fire in order to enter the garage. Taking the back alley after the garage cutscene, we run into some Scooby fence that we force to do the electric boogie at gunpoint, and then we do more running past alpha parasites to make it to the subway power station. We need to turn the power back on so the people in the subway can escape, but sadly, the power station has been taken over by some enemies that are almost as bad as the web spinners, drain demos. These things have similar HP to the dogs, but are capable of poisoning us via a very uncomfortable wiener.
Hey, yo, what the fuck?
In this section, we are forced to explore around the power maze, pulling a total of 4 levers while the Diddy bugs infinitely spawn in and attempt to kill us. Honestly, this part is rather easy to do. As long as we keep our head on a swivel, use the generators to blow up groups of them, and overall spend as little time as possible in there, we have no issue getting through this and turning on the subway's power. Now, all we have to do is reroute the train over at the subway office and we can leave. That's not gonna be a problem at all. The back alley we just took now has 5 new zombies in it and a Nemesis. This is a really big problem. We can't get away from Nemesis fast enough because there's zombies in the way, and we can't stop to kill the zombies because there's a 7'3" steroid super soldier currently triangulating my position. Although, as per usual, there's a feature that I've been hiding from you this entire time that actually makes this section possible. The perfect dodge. By pressing the dodge button a couple frames before we're damaged or grabbed, instead of tripping, Jill will do a roll, during which we are given iframes. How many frames are we given to get these dodges? 6. 6 frames. Or 0.1 seconds. If you're wondering what that actually looks like, here you go. Yeah, they kinda suck. But who the hell cares? This is literally the best news we've ever gotten. With perfect timing, we could technically never take a single hit throughout the whole game. So, after some resets, we oil up the salmon and just slip past everyone with a couple perfect dodges. And now it's time for something 10 times worse. To reroute the train, we need to go back to the subway office where we grab the water hose, solve a puzzle, and then make it all the way back to the subway station. Oh, and did I mention that Nemesis follows us the entire time? Well, he does. For this section, the game quite literally becomes Perfect Dodge Simulator. There is no way for us to be faster than Nemesis, meaning all we can do is watch him while we do moonwalking perfect dodges every time he attacks until we reach the donut shop at the end of the plaza. There's some items we can grab inside the donut shop, and usually a typewriter to save at, but that's removed because of Inferno difficulty. Leaving the donut shop, we can kill the 2 zombies in front of us with the explosive barrel before absolutely booking it into the office before Nemesis catches us. Once the train is rerouted, we can pick up the shotgun from the staff room and again book it to the donut shop while alpha parasites drop from the heavens. With all that finished, it's time for the final race to the subway, which we start by unloading our Magnum on Nemesis. During chases, Nemesis is actually killable. Kinda. He has an HP amount, so if we stun him with the generator, then throw a grenade and shoot him with the Magnum, we can deactivate him until his next spawning point. Essentially, he's gone for the rest of this section, letting us reach the subway without any other confrontations apart from a few alpha parasites. Finally inside the subway, we can calm down for about 10 seconds during a cutscene, and then Nemesis is chasing us again. Loading into Perfect Dodge Simulator 2, we legit need to get a perfect dodge every time because of how thin the hallways are. So with about 6 perfect dodges in a row, we can reach a generator to stun him for a while, and use an explosive barrel in the janitor room to give us enough time to be sus. And welcome to the sewers. Why do we always end up in the sewers? Considering how painful the last part was, you'd think the sewers would be equally as bad, but it's pretty uneventful. While here, we get introduced to enemies known as Gamma Hunters, aka Naked Frog People. They're really easy to dodge straight through, although we're given enough ammo to kill them, so to avoid any insta-kills, we're going for complete extinction. Alright, sewer any percent time. We grab the grenade launcher and the battery at the end of the sewers, head upstairs and open the 2 doors using the battery, grab the hip pouch, open the downstairs door with the battery once again, and we're done. Well, that was boring, but don't worry because right after this section, it's time to turn up the heat. Nemesis has a flamethrower. Welcome to Resident Evil 3's first boss fight. Instantly jumping into this fight, we want to dash for the top left of the arena to grab some grenade shells and wait behind this stack of wood for him to finish his long flamethrower attack. Once he begins reloading, we grab the shotgun shells and start shooting the flamethrower's fuel tank. We want to do this until he staggers backwards. This gives us enough time to get behind the other pile of objects and grab the grenade shells that are over there. With all that done, it's time to start the perfect dodges. He has a couple different attacks, all with various dodge timings, but with enough practice, this becomes pretty trivial. During all our perfect dodges, we can do what's called a perfect counter, which is done by just aiming during a roll. These perfect counters will give the player aimbot and slow-mo for a few seconds, so they're nice to use since we have to get perfect dodges anyways. After about 7 shotgun shells and 10 perfect dodges, Nemesis's fuel tank will blow up, which marks him reaching 50% HP and also the start of the second phase. Instantly upon starting the second phase, we take out the grenade launcher and start lobbing grenades into him, because this phase sucks. Not only is he faster, with attacks harder to get perfect dodges on, but he can also do a f*** you sidestep and dodge every single one of our grenades. But as long as we shoot him while he's mid-attack animation, essentially not during his charge attack, we can finish this phase and boss fight using about 8 grenade rounds. A big part of this fight is just getting lucky with Nemesis's movement. Most of his attacks can virtually insta-kill us, and the windows for perfect dodges, especially in the second phase, kinda suck ass. Leaving the boss arena, we do some more basic Resident Evil stuff. Rob some stores, shoot some people, and now Nemesis is back. And he has a rocket launcher.
I'm done.
Despite it, being a rocket launcher, it isn't as scary as it should be because there's a laser on it that tells us when to dodge. So evading his rockets is a lot easier than you'd think, especially since we can force him to commit friendly fire by baiting out the rockets. Upon beating Perfect Dodge Simulator 3's DLC, we make it back to the donut shop. Yeah, we just did a giant circle. Speaking of circles, remember the boulder from the first game? This one has one too. But don't panic just yet, because there's still another thing that dodging can do, which might be able to help us out. When I first talked about dodging, I said that it was possible to chain dodges, aka spam the dodge button until you receive a big stagger, and I said that the chain maxes out at 3 dodges. But the third dodge you do is actually different from every other dodge. It's faster and covers more distance. So with this knowledge, we can trigger the head to start rolling, do 1 dodge down the stairs, wait, then do a triple dodge chain to give us enough distance to sidestep into the safe spot, getting a revenge on the boulder. All that's left for us to do now is get a couple more perfect dodges, and we finally did it. Eat fresh, baby. That's a Subway joke. On the train, we can trigger a cutscene where Nemesis comes back again. This feels like Five Nights at Freddy's. But our train has easily the coolest guy of all time on it. He grabs some C4, calls Nemesis a bard, and then blows up. The collateral of a moment that cool is Jill has now been put on cooldown. And you know what that means? It's Carlos time. Carlos's story begins with him and his fellow Umbrella officer Tyrell searching for a scientist that goes by the name of Nathaniel Bard, who's supposedly hiding inside the Raccoon City Police Department. And wait a second, isn't that the police officer, Marvin, the guy that talks with Leon in the second game? Whatever, that's probably not even the same guy. Let's just kill this zombie. Hold on. Oh my god, I just killed Brad. Inside the police department, we can head down the southwest hallway to fight some zombies and a liquor. Lickers are honestly not that bad. Just like the second game, they're blind, so we can just walk right past them.
I thought I was being quiet, though. Oh my god, I'm dead.
I lied. The lickers in this game don't give a fuck. They're technically still blind, but it doesn't feel like it. They attack us regardless of if we make noise or not. So that means we're killing this one. In order to do so, we use Carlos's version of a perfect dodge, aka a perfect charge, to knock it over, get the slow-mo aimbot effect, and fill its face full of bullets. After that surprise, it kinda dies down. We grab some more items, shoot some more zombies, you know, the usual. Although things start to pick back up because we gotta go blow up the bathroom. Like the bathroom wall with an explosive. Just like the second game, the C4's detonator needs a battery, which is found in the safety deposit room, the key to which is located upstairs past some zombies. Setting off the explosive in the bathroom gives us access to the STARS office, and also causes gas to start leaking in the showers, like in Resident Evil 2. Okay, I don't care anymore. What's going on? If you couldn't already tell, these two games happen at the same time. Carlos reaches the police station at around 2 AM on September 29th, with Leon making it there the night of the 29th. This is how Carlos can see Marvin get bitten, Leon's cop uniform, Leon's welcome decorations, and even the two cops being attacked in the southwest hallway, which Leon also later sees. And if all of that wasn't good enough proof, the bathroom bomb makes it a clear-cut case. That's all I got. Back to the challenge. Blowing up the bathroom wall was necessary, although it had a lot of repercussions. More specifically, 6 zombies, 2 pale heads, 1 licker, and 3 alpha parasites all in front of us. Let's just leave and rethink. Son of a bitch. The 6 zombies and 2 pale heads all spawn on the other side of the bathroom, which, you know what that means. It's grenade time. Anything that doesn't die to the grenade, we can kill using Carlos's assault rifle and confirm their deaths with some knife slashes. Exiting the bathroom, it's time for the hard part. We need to figure out how to deal with the alpha parasites and the licker in the one hallway. To do this, we wait for the 3 alpha parasites to walk down the hallway and get in line with the window that the licker jumps through. Then we throw a flashbang and bingo, we're done. In the STARS office, we learn that Dr. Bard is trapped inside a hospital and he's hiding from the Umbrella Corporation because they're attempting to erase all the evidence of the T-Virus's existence. So, him. He also gives Carlos the choice between saving him or sitting in the office with his dick in his hand, and I'm assuming Carlos chose the latter because we're back to playing as Jill. We rejoin Jill's story immediately following the train crash, and after some boring walking sections that can simply be dashed through, it's time for the next boss in this game, Courtyard Nemesis. This fight is a lot harder than the last Nemesis fight. He's faster, stronger, has more attacks, is naked, and walks on 4 legs. His moveset consists of many different moves, with his most frequent being his jump grab and his swipe. The jump grab is telegraphed by him ducking down and then obviously jumping, and to get the perfect dodge, we need to dash into him pretty much as soon as he leaps off the ground. The timing for this one really sucks, and the punishment for missing this dodge is even worse. As for his swipe, we know he's about to do it when he repeatedly walks into the player's hitbox, after which he will bring either his left or right arm up and swing it down at the player. In order to get the perfect dodge for this attack, we once again need to dodge into him, except this time we dodge right as he begins to swing his arm down, regardless of which side he swings on. As I said, those are his main attacks. He can do a couple different things, especially in his second phase, but those are so rare that if he did them, we either panic dodge or die. With that said, it's time to actually begin the fight, which we start by completely emptying our grenade launcher to make space for the 6 flame rounds that spawn behind us. Flame rounds are good against Nemesis, so we want them. From here, the fight is pretty basic. We dodge an attack and either shoot him with our shotgun or reload, because a dodge only gives us time to do one of the two. Apart from the difficulty of getting a perfect dodge every time, this part of the fight is pretty simple, and we have no issues reaching phase 2. During his phase 2 transition, we want to take the time to reach the opposite side of the arena, not because it makes the phase easier, just because it has more ammo. In phase 2, he keeps all of his phase 1 attacks and gains one devastating one. He runs along the sides and tops of surrounding buildings until finally climbing to the top of the clock tower and doing a massive jump attack. This jump attack is an insta-kill, so we want to avoid it as much as possible. To do so, we can use mine rounds. Mine rounds are another ammo that's used in the grenade launcher. They work by sticking to a surface, and if disturbed by movement, they will blow up. So while he runs along the buildings, we can stick a mine to a part of the building we know he will run over, blowing him up and stunning him for a few seconds. And that's basically all this fight has to offer. From here, it's just more of what we did in phase 1. Get perfect dodges, either shoot or reload, and when he starts to climb the buildings, hit him with a mine. So after a couple hours of attempts, this boss goes down. We clear the arena of all its resources and crush Nemesis with a gate. Then Jill blue screens. She's been infected by a stray Nemesis needle, but luckily Carlos is here to save the day. 12 hours later. She's f***ing dead by now. Regardless of her well-being, this was optimal for the speedrun, because Carlos was already going to the hospital, so we can save Jill there. With Jill incapacitated, Carlos is back in the driver's seat, and it's time to drive straight through a hospital. Exploring the main corridor, we encounter some resistance, the main thing being a licker that requires a perfect counter to kill. Other than that, there really isn't anything else. We go upstairs and jump down into the corridor to grab the locker room key, and if we ever ran into a zombie, we would just rudely shove them over. Although, our exploration quickly goes bad, because right before we can use the locker room key upstairs, the hunters from Resident Evil 1 come back to ruin our day. Unlike the first game, these things are called beta hunters, but just like the first game, these things are tanks. They absorb so many bullets and are capable of doing crazy amounts of damage. To kill these things, we need to aim directly for the head to break its mandibles, which act as armor. Once those are destroyed, they can be killed sort of easily. Killing the first one goes, well, on the second try, granting us the hospital ID card and a quick standoff using the locker room door. Using our newly acquired ID card on a door in the nurse's station allows us to reach the observation corridor. The reason why we're up here is because we need a voice sample of Dr. Bard in order to open the door to the research facility and get the vaccine. The good thing is, there just so happens to be a voice sample in that room, with 2 beta hunters in it. Fear not, because I always have a plan. Are you The grenade takes out the first one with ease, and we can throw a flashbang to stun the second one to make it easier to gun down. With Dr. Bard's likeness successfully stolen, we use another flashbang to make it past the massive zombies still in the emergency entrance, and now we're gonna go drink the purple guy potion at 3 AM. Before this can happen, we first have to watch Dr. Bard's Walter White video. It just says shit we already know. Back at the sick room, we give Jill the purple guy potion, and then learn that Raccoon City is about to be nuked on October 1st by the government. Before we can panic about that, we first need to survive the horde of zombies that are pouring in from the windows, attempting to kill us and break into the sick room where Jill is. This section is very chaotic, but it's not that difficult. We use the generators to zap as many zombies as possible and hide behind the desk for some protection. During this first horde, we want to use as much pistol ammo as possible, saving the rifle ammo for the beta hunters that spawn during the second horde. And we're done. After a while, we place the detonator to blow up the rest of the zombie horde, and while we wait for that to go off, we can zap the massive group of zombies with a generator and sit there. Just like that, Jill's back in action, and it's time to go where all Resident Evil games end, the underground laboratory. Using the lockpick on the door in the reception, how the f did nobody question that door being there? Anyways, using the door brings us down to the lab, where the first thing we need to do is grab 3 fuses to operate an elevator. For the most part, this goes surprisingly well. We shoot the odd pale head and blow up the Gamma Hunter hiding in the crate. Those are the only interesting things we see. Using the elevator brings us to the surveillance room, and also marks the beginning of the end. Not of the game, but of my sanity. This next section is ridiculous. Entering the lab, we perfectly dodge past some pale heads to grab the override key, granting us access to the experimental storage, aka pale head storage. By getting rid of a couple pale heads, we can obtain the first part of the vaccine from the first lab. From there, we need to get past more pale heads, including an alpha parasite version of the pale head, to get to another elevator. This elevator leads to the second laboratory containing the other part of the vaccine. However, it's guarded by 2 pale heads and 2 alpha parasites, which we once again need to kill. With both parts of the vaccine acquired, you'd think this section would be over, but it's not. On the way back with the vaccine, we are forced to fight 5 beta hunters in one room. Huh? We can kill most of them using acid rounds from the grenade launcher since they do bonus damage, but we run out pretty quickly and need to kill the rest with a shotgun. Once all of that is done, we can finally go upstairs and create the serum. Keep in mind, during that whole time, there was no saving. If I died, the game was over and I needed to restart all the way back to the surveillance room. Crafting the vaccine comes with its issues, mainly a freaky Nemesis tongue coming from the ceiling, although this attack is scripted, so we have no problem escaping. Usually after scripted Nemesis attacks, there have been unscripted boss fights, but they wouldn't do that. We just use so much ammo killing all that other shit. Never mind, that's exactly what they would do. Nemesis 3. There's only one, count it, one good thing about this fight, and that's that every single attack that he does is reused from the Courtyard fight. Like, they're legit the exact same. Past that, everything else surrounding this fight sucks zombie ass. Starting the fight, we once again want to use the grenade launcher. The flame rounds stun him for a while, allowing us to grab all the ammo spread throughout the boss arena. We need it because I just took the genocide route. From here, it's the same thing as the Courtyard fight. We dodge, then either shoot or reload, and we keep doing this until Nemesis does his wall riding move. When he starts running, instead of using mines, we can pull out our pistol and shoot the tank that he stops behind to get a free stun, allowing us to get some damage in with a grenade or just by shooting him. Boom, it's just the Courtyard fight. Why am I complaining? Throughout this entire fight, zombies infinitely spawn in all around the arena. And since I have no ammo to use on these guys, I'm forced to ignore them in the hopes that Nemesis would hit them by accident while attacking us. Although, I was able to get lucky enough after only a couple attempts, finishing the fight via giant robot arm assist from Carlos, who's here now. I kinda forgot to mention that. Sorry Carlos, but I don't care. We can finally kill off Nemesis with an acid bath and escape the laboratory with the vaccine. Okay, I'm lying again. The game can't end just yet, all because of this guy, Nikolai Zinoviev. Let me catch you up real quick. He shot the guy in the garage, locked us in with Nemesis on the train, watched us have a seizure after the Courtyard fight, stole the vaccine, and then forced us to fight the fight that we just did. Why is he doing all this? So he can sell the vaccine on the black market and make a bunch of money. He's evil Russian Mark Zuckerberg. So it's because of him that we now need to fight literally the hardest boss in any Resident Evil game ever made without running. Final stage Nemesis. This boss fight works completely different from every other fight. We start it by shooting him with the Ferromagnetic Infantry Next Generation Railgun, aka the Finger. I'm not kidding. This is one of those gimmick fights where the only way to kill the boss is by using the provided weapon. After the first usage, the gun powers down, and we are required to push in 3 batteries found around the boss arena to recharge the gun and end the fight. However, in order to push one of these batteries in, we need to destroy 7 bulbs on Nemesis's body to cause a stagger, meaning in total, we need to do 3 cycles of destroying bulbs and pushing in a battery to end the fight. I honestly have no idea where to even start with this boss, so I'm first going to explain his most frequent attacks, and then I'll explain the strat for how we could potentially beat the boss. First off, every single attack that he does throughout this entire fight will insta-kill us. If we get hit at all, we need to reset the entire thing. With that said, easily his most frequent attack is the super annoying triple slam. He will lift up his left arm before slamming it down, then he slams the right arm, and finally the left arm one more time. The dodge timing for this is dumb. All 3 slams have different timings, with the very last slam being insanely fast compared to the other 2. So the way we dodge it is by hoping we dodge it, and in some cases, we just can't. Before he does this attack, sometimes he can do a scream. If he does this, we're dead. The Scream staggers Jill for so long that he just does the triple slam while we're still staggered and we die. And believe it or not, that's not even his worst attack. Without a doubt, his most bullshit attack is what I like to call the RNG slam. He raises his right hand and proceeds to do between 3 to 7 slams in a row, all with the same timing, except for the final one. And if we try to dodge the final one with the same timing as all the other dodges, we will get hit and are insta-killed. So, just to wrap it up, he does a bunch of slams back to back and will randomly stop whenever he wants, and if we don't recognize within a half a second and stop pressing the dodge button, we have to redo the whole fight. Sadly, this isn't even close to all his attacks. He can do the X slam, the Donkey Kong slam, some big swipes, all of which insta-kill us and all of which suck, so there's no point in even talking about them. Now that I've finished complaining, it's time for us to get started with actually beating this shit. Starting the fight, we instantly dash over to the left and right to grab all the handgun ammo that we're given. Since we haven't shot him with the railgun yet, he isn't really attacking, so we don't have to worry about getting hit. Once we collect everything and shoot him with the finger, I won't be making a joke about that, the actual fight begins, where we instantly want to pull out our new pistol. Back in the hospital, we were given the G18 handgun or the burst pistol. This thing is perfect for this fight because the bulbs die in exactly one burst, so we want to use this for almost the whole fight. From here, it's Perfect Dodge Simulator 27. We aren't able to run away from any attacks, meaning every single one he does must be perfectly dodged. To take him out as fast as possible, we want to first shoot the 2 bulbs on the right, then the 2 in the middle, and leave the 3 on the left for last, taking advantage of any perfect dodges we get to do some perfect counters. During this portion of the fight, we need to be careful when we destroy the bulbs, because upon being destroyed, acid blobs will shoot out from them, and if they hit us, we can get staggered and hit with an attack. There were many times where I would be having a good run, I would go to destroy a bulb, and then get hit with a Curry half-court shot and die as a result. With only the 3 left bulbs remaining, we want to take out the front 2, leaving the far back left one for last, to do something a little special. If you remember, back when I talked about the batteries, I mentioned that we needed to stagger him 3 times to push in the 3 batteries, except that's not true. There's actually a skip. The 2 batteries on the right are actually close enough that we can push both of them in during the same stagger. To do this, we need to move up and bait out a close range swipe. When he starts to do it, we get a perfect dodge through the attack, destroy the bulb triggering the stagger, and then begin pushing in the closest battery. If we did this with perfect timing, we could push the battery in, instantly chain 3 sideways dodges to reach the second battery, and push it in with literally less than a second left before we are dead. With that done, we essentially skipped an entire cycle of this fight, so we pull out the Magnum to one-shot all 7 of the bulbs, and after a couple more perfect dodges, we can stagger him, push in the final battery, and finally kill this piece of shit.
Yes! Yes! Let's go, baby! Come on! Let's go, dude! Ah! Oh my god! Let's go! Let's kill this dude. Let's kill this dude, man.
Words cannot describe how ridiculous this fight is. All it is hours and hours of starting the fight, missing a perfect dodge by a couple frames, and then being forced to reset the whole thing. But who cares? We were actually able to beat this fight without running, allowing us to escape the lab, shoot Nikolai because fuck that guy, and take the helicopter right as the city gets nuked. Oh fuck, I kind of forgot about that. To make this ending even worse, Nikolai shot the vaccine, so this whole thing was for nothing. We did the whole challenge just for the city to get nuked anyways. Dude, I should have just stayed in the office with my dick in my hand.
Fuck.
At this point, I don't even care. That is the last game of this video completed, and it's another game that's 100% possible to beat without ever having to run. There we go, an almost perfect start to the challenge. Looking at the run scoreboard, Resident Evil 1 was the only game so far to require any runs. One in the wall puzzle room and one in the boulder passage. So the total runs for the Resident Evil franchise sits at a low but kind of sad 2 necessary runs. Hopefully we can keep that number the same for the whole series, but I highly doubt it because we're not even halfway done. With that said, I really hope you all enjoyed this video. I've been wanting to do a challenge with the Resident Evil games for so long, and I thought that this would be perfect. So again, hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm not quite sure when part 2 will be out, but when it comes out, it will feature Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. Believe me when I say this, that video is going to be really cool, and you're definitely not going to want to miss it. And as always, thank you all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please leave a like and consider subscribing, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.